Living beyond your means and spending everything you make. This is Richard Nikoley, freetheanimal.com. So I should start with a story. I wasn't always that way. As a Navy officer for 8 years, after the first 2 years, the pay gets pretty good, and plus being stationed in Japan and then in France, especially Japan, got cost of living allowance. So sometimes I was pretty flush. I could essentially do what I wanted and still save money. So when I got out of the Navy in beginning of 93, I set about to I wanted to be an entrepreneur, do business. I had about 50,000 saved. So I call that tuition, because I was down to 200 bucks when the third or fourth attempt worked. So then it took me, so that was like 94-ish something. I burned through the 50 pretty quickly. Yeah, you go get your degree in business university like I did. I think that's what it'll do now. No, that education is to prepare you to be an employee. Maybe you get to management. But to go it alone, that you gotta learn. That you gotta go to the school of hard knocks. So from then it took me about 10 years, 8 or 9 at least. But you know, I should say that you know, I build steady. And I was me in a small office, a couple of employees, and I was doing about 500,000 a year, and pretty good. Overhead was damn low, so it was good. Then I was approached by a friend of mine who was actually in the same business, and he had come up with a marketing program that, you know, when I looked at it and looked at his numbers, it's like, wow, that really works. Problem is, he is more of a marketing kind of guy, where I'm the systems and management sort of thing, the whole organization. So anyway, ended up partnering up with him, taking on his portfolio and the marketing in exchange for a 49% stake. I maintained control, and it turned out to be a good move. Went from, in the first year, went from the 500,000 a year to quadruple, 2 million. And then the third year, 3 million. So 6-fold increase. And we remained there for a while. 30 employees, 2 service offices and 2 sales offices, 2 or 3. It was good. But then, as if to say, oh, better get him now. So, you know, here we have 2,000 clients, an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, which no company in our financial services niche had anywhere in the US, based on one single complaint by a Spanish speaker. Ça va? Toujours ça va? Toujours. Okay. All right. So we had a Spanish-speaking sales rep who signed up only Spanish speakers, and we had such a big problem because they were either not, they could speak English, they just didn't want to, you know, and you could tell. So we just said, nope, got it. They can speak Spanish, but they got to be bilingual. They got to at least speak English, you know, because I was hiring Spanish-speaking reps. It's just a big pain in the ass. Anyway, so it pissed him off. So he got one of his clients to complain to Consumer Affairs, blah blah blah, in California, and the AG came after us, the California Attorney General. And while they never pursued a case, either civil or criminal, oh, they told me right off the bat, well, we're not going to pursue any sort of criminal fraud or anything like that. Oh, thank you very much. You know, fuck off. But they made me spend a shit ton of money. You know, I've always said that unless you're paying, you know, $400 an hour or more to a lawyer, you're wasting your money, because there's only one reason a lawyer commands $400 and up, and this is in, you know, 2006, right? I think he was $450. You know, big Santa Monica law firm, same law firm that ousted Governor Gray Davis as a partner of. So, you know, he got the whole thing turned off, which took like 3 years. And $450 an hour for him, about $200 an hour for the paralegal. And so it was $250 a year, $250,000 a year. And if you're doing 3 million, that's almost 10% of your gross revenue just on fucking attorney fees, right? So at a point I just said, well, this, you know, now other companies that were unscrupulous, let me say, right? Too much heat in the deal, right? Because it's a tough business to do, because it's getting people out of debt, negotiating when collectors and collection law firms are on their ass. But, you know, we had 2,000 clients. We settled about 2 to 3 million credit card debt, mostly a month, at an average of 35 cents on the dollar. That's what we did. Anyway, but those companies that made it through, now they're okay. Some of them still in business, even though they got pursued the same way with lawsuits and stuff like that. But they had scaled up to where that's affordable. You know, if you're at 100 million or more a year gross, then you can afford a few $100,000 for attorneys. Right? So anyway, long story short, that was the beginning of the end. I kept it going for about 5-6 years, but then decided to basically stop taking clients and just attrite down until I shut down the power in, I think, 2013, right? But I mean, at the height, you know, like, which is 2005, 2006, you know, I was probably personally worth, between the value of the company and rental properties, I had like 12 rental properties, stuff like that. So my net worth may probably around 3 million on paper. And then the 2008 bust happens, and I walked away from all of them except for our second home, our vacation home in the mountains, and one other property that I had, one in Sacramento, where I had paid cash for this one, about $200K. So I had so it was only cash flow for that one. I was renting it for, like, you know, it was a little house, fixed up. I put about 30,000 into it, and it was getting 900 a month. So why get rid of that? You know, I didn't have a loan on it. Anyway, so that's that. But here's the thing. Having all that money, here's the point of the whole video. Having all that money flowing through my hands. You know, when I built the business originally, I was very frugal because I didn't have much money. I had to do everything myself. You know, I know a lot about client and server and databases and phone systems and so on because I had to do it myself because I didn't want to spend the money on vendors. So I even wrote our first CRM, you know, customer resource management thing in Access 1.0. So that was that. I did everything myself. But I didn't keep that, you know. As money starts flowing in, you're like, if I look back and think about all the first class trips, you know, fly first class, have a suite at the Four Seasons, you know, dinner tabs that are like $1,500 for 4 people, shit like that, showing off buying $800 bottles of wine, stupid shit, right? Had I persisted with that business frugality, I wouldn't be where I am today, you know. However, since I am, it is somewhat cleansing, and you need cleansing in your life. So the point is, you know, I'm scraping by, so my you know, good thing I didn't forget how to be economical and frugal, and I have no problem with it. I'm not embarrassed about it. Quite the contrary. And in fact, I'm gonna have money again. I'm gonna be flush again. I mean, I know how to do it. It takes work. I was up at 2:30 a.m. this morning. Went to bed at 9, got up at 2:30. So, been at it for I've been working for almost 6 hours. It's only 8:30 in the morning. So, I love it. I tell you what, you know, if it wasn't for the booze cessation, never would have happened. I'd be back in the US already saying, God, guess I gotta go get a job at Home Depot or Walmart, because I'm essentially unemployable because of shit like this YouTube and my blog, you know. Of course they're gonna Google you, right? Oh my God. So the thing is so many people I know, they make good money, you know. They're well in the 6 figures, 100, 200, 250 a year and more, right? And they still have to use their credit cards because they have no cash. Cash poor all the time, right? And if they're in a business where they get a annual bonus, you know, it can be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year. It's spent in anticipation. It's spent before it even comes in, right? And it's not spent by putting it in a savings or investment account, right? So in anticipation, they buy all sorts of stuff they don't really need. Oh, we're enjoying life, okay, but you know, what happens when shit changes, and changes big time, right? So, you know, so my regret is that in building the business and making pretty much, you know, all the right moves, but when success happens, you know, losing those core behaviors that got me there in the first place. You know, I could have over time socked away $1 million and just said, I ain't fucking touching this, you know. But here I am now, humping it on YouTube, humping it on the blog, right? Doing stuff behind the scenes you don't even know about. But you know, it's like I said, it's cleansing, right? I don't recommend, you know, burning all your money and giving it a go, right? But I do recommend for those of you who have good incomes, good assets, you know, guard a good fucking portion of it. Really, you know, don't get lazy. Stay ever vigilant, right? Things could change. Okay.